Mr. Chair, we
Yes.
are ready to begin. We are ready to begin.
Okay, thank you. This is Michael Marks, the Chairman of the Board of Adjustment. We have one item on the agenda, and before we even move into that, I would like to ask Ms. Wells for a roll call.
Yes.
Ms. Wells, are you there? I don't know if the problem is on my side or her side. Does anybody hear me out there?
I can hear you.
I hear you.
I can hear you, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
I can hear you.
very good. Ms. Wells, are you there? Maybe
Mr. Chair, it looks like Ms. Wells left the call. She might having technical difficulties. I can do roll call.
Okay, yes, Mr. Castro, would you do roll call?
Michael Marks,
Here.
Kathy Kubich,
Here.
Alan Huerta,
Here.
Jesse Lugo is absent. Bruce Dawson.
Here.
Mr. Chair, we do have a quorum.
Very good. All righty. For the record, we have one item on the agenda. It's a continuation of a case that we heard last month. It is case C10-21-08, Tucson Electric Power pole relocation and modification, Silverbow Road, a scenic corridor zone. At that hearing last month, the entire public hearing portion of the matter was completed. At the end of that meeting, we closed the hearing, and the matter was taken continued and taken into under advisement. And here we are today for the sole purpose of completing that hearing, and that completion could be the introduction of discussion by one or more members of the board, and then leading to a motion by one or more members of the board, or we could move right into a motion at this immediate point in time. Before I ask board members how they want to proceed with either discussion or a motion, I want to first go back and ask Mr. Castro, is there anything else staff wants to say before we enter into this last phase on this case? Mr. Castro, is there anything that you or Ms. Wells, is there anything that you want to say to us first?
Mr. Chair, I don't have anything else to add other than what you have just covered. Again, just to recap, this is a continuation of the case C10-21-08. There was a public hearing for this case that was closed on November 17th, 2021, and the board voted to take the matter under advisement and continue the case to the December 15th, 2021 public hearing. So again, the board has the option to discuss the case and vote, or reopen the public hearing, close it, discuss, and vote.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. My comments on those options are that I believe we've heard an extensive amount of public input, and I appreciate all the input that was provided to us. But at this point, I see no need for any further public input. That's speaking for myself, and other members may have other opinions on that matter. But I feel comfortable in moving right into final discussion and a motion, and that's why I'd like to open it up to other board members and ask if anybody wishes to either introduce, discussion or to make a motion? And I see that Board Member Huerta has his hand up, and so I'd like to recognize him.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to grant. I move that we grant the following variance in case C-10-2108 to relocate and modify existing power poles and service lines above ground within the scenic corridor, and two, to install new poles and service lines to be located above ground within the scenic corridor, all as shown in the submitted plans. Subject to the following conditions: coordinate with Pima County Office of Sustainability and Conservation on the location of the poles to minimize disturbance and to avoid damage to potential cultural resources. And B, applicant to remove all de-energized power poles and associated infrastructure prior to phase 2 completion. The evidence presented to the board shows that there are special circumstances which were not self-imposed, which are applicable to the property and support the granting of the requested variance as set forth in staff report in pages 1, 2, 3, and 4, and findings 1 through 7. The variance with the conditions imposed will not be material or detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to other property improvements in the neighborhood and is thus the minimum necessary to provide relief.
Thank you, Mr. Huerta. Is there a second to that motion?
I second the motion.
Are there any objections to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously, and that completes the hearing and all matters before us today. I turn it over back to the.
I think we need,
Mr. Chairman,
I think we need to vote.
You want a roll call? Well, then.
We
Well,
want to vote.
I asked if there was anybody that objected, and there were no objections. But what I will do, just for the record, is I'll turn to Mr. Castro or Ms. Wells
point of order.
and ask for a roll call to that motion.
Point of order.
Mr. Marks,
I'm only recognizing at this point either Ms. Wells or Mr. Castro.
Mr. Marks, I'm calling roll call.
Is that
Michael
Ms.
Marks?
Wells? I apologize. Yes,
worries.
would you ask for a roll call? Would you?
Mike Marks,
Yes.
Kathy Kubish,
Yes.
Alon Huerta,
Yes.
Bruce Dawson.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Well, thank you very much. Staff, is there anything further you want to say before we turn our video and audio off?
I have no additional comments. Mr. Castro?
Point of order.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I have no additional comments.
Okay, well, as a chairman, I would just say thank you very much to the board members present. I too want to thank Mr. Huerta for his service. I appreciate the input all those who have spoken previous to today on this case have provided to us. So thank you very much, and that completes the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.